Hi everyone, this is Gene for a new episode of Oranda Power. So basically, for this stream, this video, what I want to talk about is the fact that goldfish requires a lot of things. So if you're planning to keep goldfish, the really first thing you should ask yourself is, do I have the space to do so? Because believe me, goldfish get big, really big. I did that mistake pretty much all my life, and yeah, that's why I didn't kept goldfish for as long as I'm supposed to. Because remember, goldfish is a lot of commitment. They can live, I think, 20 years and even more. They get really massive, they eat a lot, they are known for being really dirty in the sense that they kind of poop a lot. So you need a great amount of filtration. And yeah, I really strongly believe at this point that goldfish are not a fish for everyone. So I mean, everyone have done that mistake before, putting a goldfish in way too small of an aquarium. I can say I never put a goldfish in a bowl. I'm really proud of myself for that, but keeping like 10 goldfish in a 10-gallon aquarium, yeah, that was my mistake. So, what space do you need for goldfish? So, we're looking right now at a 26-gallon, right? And I have 2 goldfish, and this is way too much for a 26-gallon. You need way bigger than that, trust me. So my 2 goldfish are 3.5 years old now, and yeah, that's my hand compared to them. They can kind of look like they're big, but in fact they are actually pretty small for goldfish of that old, really. And the main reason for that is because they are kind of stumped. I mean, from nose to the end of the tail, this one is, I believe, 12 centimeters, something like that. Yeah, I have small hands. So yeah, space is really one of the great things you want to check out for before getting yourself into goldfish keeping. Trust me, goldfish, amazing fish. You will probably never get a fish with that much personality. But in the other hand, it is really, really tough to keep them if you don't have a big enough aquarium or something, or like a pond or something. So compatibility speaking, there isn't really a lot of things that it can be with. So right now mine are with Danios and gold barbs and corridoras. And trust me, it is kind of a mistake of me to have done that. Because the gold barbs, they're nipping at goldfish, as you can see. Some nip fins. It's far less than before, but yeah. Occasionally there is still fin nipping, and for the Danios, well, I pretty much lost 5 or 6 of them. It takes time because Danios are pretty quick compared to big fat goldfish, but at the end of the day, goldfish like to eat everything, and that's include little tank mates if they have the opportunity to do so. I don't think goldfish are really necessarily predators. I mean, in most cases they were eating my other fish during night. So one day I count all my Danios. I have, for example, 9, and the other day I open the light. Everything seems normal. I count the Danios, 8. So yeah, goldfish are really big scavengers. So yeah, I still believe somehow that some fish could be good with goldfish. For example, big minnows or fish that can really live in their temperature range. But for the most part, don't keep small fish with goldfish. And if you do, try it when the goldfish is really pretty young. Like, the smaller you can get the goldfish and the bigger you can get the other species of fish, the better it is. Because that way the goldfish kind of understand that the other fish are tank mates and not food. But yeah, there is always a probability that goldfish will try to eat every thing in the aquarium, because they are goldfish. They just like to do so. Also, you kind of want to have more than only one goldfish, as goldfish are really social. As you can see, both are really swimming together most of the time. They are not as tight schoolers as, for example, Danios or Tetras. But trust me, when one of the goldfish is in one side of the aquarium, the other one usually come close to him. So in an ideal world, you would want at least 3 of them. I have 2 right now. That's because it's a 26 gallon, and yeah, in an ideal world, I'm going to add more goldfish in a bigger aquarium, so they can have companions. But yeah, don't keep a goldfish all by himself in an aquarium, sorry, with absolutely no decoration. Goldfish are really social fish, and they are really intelligent and curious. Which bring to the point of decoration. What type of decoration you want with goldfish? So some people go with bare bottom aquarium with 0 to minimum decoration, and yeah, it's just not my style really. And I mean, I kind of see why you want some people want to do so, because goldfish are really clumsy. But I think it is way better for goldfish to have some type of decoration that they can interact with than 0 decoration, you know. So the first thing you really want to do though is to have really a big space, swimming space. I mean, if we kind of check the aquarium, you can clearly see that all the front portion is all open space for them. And also for the montane that they really like, by the way, I made sure that they have like a way to really just do a turn and be able to pop back right here, which they love to do. So you really want to take into consideration that each decoration that you put should have a lot of space around for the goldfish to really swim around without scratching themselves. And if you look at my videos from the really more beginning, there is one of my videos called My Goldfish Have Destroyed My Aquascape. And yeah, that's because when I used to give pellet food like algae wafers, and I didn't broke them down back then, when I put the algae wafer, the goldfish went berserk, and they were just kind of sticking themselves in the little rock cave. And since the rock cave weren't really secured, well, the goldfish always like kind of destroy the rock formation and often scratch some of their scales. So you really want to make sure to have really decoration that they won't hurt themselves on. So if you have like big smooth rocks, things like that, it is best for goldfish. And for plastic plants versus real plants, well, goldfish really like real plants. They like it a bit too much. This is why I actually put lettuce in the aquarium. They will eat it real soon. But the only real plant I was able to keep with them is Anubias. I tried Java Fern. They literally just destroyed Java Fern. But that's might just be my goldfish. Java Fern and Java Moss are usually good choice, as well as jungle val. I have plastic jungle val. But yeah, for fake plants, you want to make sure that that they won't hurt the goldfish. So that's why I have that jungle val. You see, it's not rough. You know, it's kind of easy for them to just pass on and everything. And let me just show you a plastic plant that I used to keep with goldfish, but I decided to remove because it was hurting them a bit. Alright, so I have two type of plants. One that I recommend, so plastic plants. So this is the first design. You see, I kind of rub my fingers into it, sorry, and it really doesn't hurt me. So even if a goldfish literally just ram into this type of plants, even if it is plastic, it will not hurt them. So this is why I kind of kept the jungle val, because it's really just looks like grass kind of it, and yeah, it's pretty smooth. But then there was this big thing right here. Really loved the design of this plant, but it wasn't working with the goldfish, because you see all the little leaves on it, kind of sharp, and if the goldfish was kind of stuck in itself between the branch, he had to kind of shake himself to get out of it. They're kind of curious about it. They are, ooh, there is a new plant. What are you talking about, GM? We are interested in what you're showing to the camera. But yeah, each time they were kind of trying to explore this plant, they were kind of scratching some scales and everything, so I decided to replace it. So either with plants with just big leaf, or plants that just kind of look like jungle balls or something like that, those are good plants. Plastic plants, that is, because there is also like another type of plant with another type of material. Sorry, this is really soft. It usually doesn't last as long as plastic, because the goldfish kind of nip at it and kind of destroyed it over time, but it takes several months or even years. And yeah, you can kind of see that it's really soft, so they won't hurt themselves on that. So yeah, that's another thing to consider. So decoration. For substrate, some people say that you should only have bare bottom, some people say gravel, other people say sand. So I never experienced sand before. A lot of people say that sand can actually damage the gill of the goldfish, but that really doesn't make that sense, really, because goldfish kind of, first of all, from what I've heard, then again, I just never had sand in any of my aquariums, but yeah, for what I heard, goldfish have actually some kind of mechanism in their gills that protect them from sand. So yeah, I cannot confirm it. For bare bottom, a lot of people goes to bare bottom because they are afraid that the goldfish will hurt themselves with substrate. And I think that it is a completely ridiculous idea, don't get me wrong, and let me explain this real quick for you. Fact is, in the wild, goldfish, their ancestors are carps, and carps are bottom dwellers that scavenge the bottom of, well, lakes and such things like that. So it doesn't make sense that a fish that actually is built have a mouth more downward than upward, that is constantly picking at the substrate, can actually hurt himself. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then, so, well, if you want to be safe, go for bare bottom, but I really don't think it is necessary. I think goldfish can handle sand and gravel. So for gravel, some people kind of, well, I kind of experienced that before, that at one point your goldfish will get to the size when you can kind of choke on a gravel. Doesn't really happen that much, and I mean, never lost a fish doing that. I mean, they kind of know what they do. Sometimes when they were younger, yes, a rock kind of got stuck in their mouth, but they are scavengers that literally search the ground in their wild form. So I think they know what they're doing. I think they can pretty much handle substrate. But if you really want to be safe, go for really small or really big gravel. I guess this size is exactly the size you don't want for with your goldfish. But I mean, I mean, even if one gets stuck in their mouth, they are usually able to kind of just spit it out eventually, and they kind of manage to evolve. And once they grow a bit bigger, it doesn't cause any problem anymore. So yeah, I mean, bare bottom aquarium is kind of good for some reasons, but it kind of doesn't look natural to me to put a fish that is built to literally search for in the substrate and not put any substrate for him to search. Where do you get all the natural behaviors if you don't put natural things for them to do, you know? So that's why I tend to like to put some decoration, not too much. Obviously, you don't want to overcrowd your aquarium with too much decoration. You still want a lot of place for them to be able to swim, and a lot of place for them to actually maneuver themselves. So even like there, they still have space between the kind of coral things and the plants. They don't usually go on that side of the tank. That's why I put the actual sponge filter there. It's kind of hiding behind that stuff, so you can only see pretty much the bubbles. But yeah, sometimes it's best to kind of switch decoration over time and see what your goldfish really like. I mean, my goldfish don't really appreciate that decoration that much. It's more the other smaller fish that will actually enjoy that. But my goldfish never really go into there, but they really like to kind of swim around the mountain. So that's why I will keep both, because it's allow small fish to go around this place, and the goldfish have kind of that place and pretty much the front to go and feel safe, you know. For filtration, the best as you can have. For temperature, it is debatable. I keep mine in the low 70s. That's pretty much the highest you can go for long term. Some people say you should do like seasonal change, so during winter actually brought the temperature way lower than that, like even in the low 60s. While in summer you can actually brought the temperature higher, even the high 70s. For me, I just prefer to go for the middle, really, and just keep them in the low 70s, high 60s, especially since there are fancies, and fancies are a bit weaker and have like more of a compact body, so you kind of want to put less stress on their body and everything. But yeah, Oh, and also if you want to keep small fish with goldfish, like I did and like I do, I don't necessarily recommend it at this point. Um, it is quite interesting though, and I really want to try it with other species of fish. Well, the danios are kind of doing more okay at this point. But yeah, if you want to attempt that, try to create space where only the small fish can go and where the goldfish won't. At one point you will kind of discover where your goldfish prefer to spend their times, so that's why I just put that thing and the sponge filter on the right corner of the aquarium, because my two goldfish, I kind of see them more on the left side. This is really their spot right here. That's why I put their favorite decoration on the left side, left side of the aquarium, and then I put decoration that other fish might like on the right side, where the goldfish won't tend to go. Even though small fish really kind of like every decoration. And if you want small fish, I don't recommend danios with goldfish. One of the fish that kind of do well right now is those checkerhead barbs. I mean, they like low 70s temperature. They're quite small, so I don't say they will never get eat. I mean, there is always that possibility, but compared to the danios, which are always swimming in the open and are just asking to be like eating, and the gold barbs that are just way too colorful and just nip way too much, so they get on the nerve of the goldfish. The checkerhead barbs are quite nice fish. They have dual coloration, so they don't really attract the eye of the goldfish. And just check that. Oh, they literally know how to use the decoration. They are always around decoration. They're always like, well, wow, that one is just destroying all what I was trying to say. But see how we really kind of always search cover, and they really like this big mountain right now. And yeah, what they do is they kind of explore the mountain and look and kind of lodge themselves in the crevices while they are exploring, so they don't attract the attention. I wish I could kind of showcase that behavior right now, but I guess they are hiding. They're not extremely reclusive, they are not aggressive at all, and they are pretty much awesome little fish to keep with goldfish. They're really the first fish you see that is just going to kind of hang around the decoration. And if the goldfish come close to him, he really have a lot of option to just kind of hide and not be seen. You see, they're really smarter than the danios. The danios just doesn't act right with the goldfish compared to that checkerhead barbs. See how they are really small and smart? They are using their size really. So that's why you kind of want to create like ornaments and decoration that will allow the smaller fish to go when the goldfish kind of try to eat them. So I would strongly suggest to put like driftwood all around to create a U shape, or driftwood or like rocks and everything. That's kind of what I've go with, and then allow big space for the goldfish to swim, while the small fish can all kind of live around the things on the back. So did I speak about filtration? If not, you want to put way big filtration, because they are messy fish, so you want a lot of filtration for them. That is actually one thing that I done right. I have like 2 filters on this 26 gallon, so this is why I'm able to keep that much fish. I mean, that sponge filter doing perfect job. I mean, crazy the amount of nitrate and ammonia that is destroying each day. because those goldfish poop machine. So for feeding, first of all, I suggest to really do a lot of small feeding instead of just one big feeding, especially if you keep goldfish with other species of fish. But the thing is really is that the goldfish in the wild are scavengers, and scavengers always look for food. So instead of just giving them one big meal and then they are just not doing anything the rest of the day, they are just picking at glass and decoration the rest of the day, give them some food that they can actually snack on all day long, but not big meals, you know. That's why I have put some lettuce in the aquarium. They will munch on that for a while. Veggies are really good for goldfish. They love that. They really like lettuce, spinach, corn. All fish are crazy for corn. What you do with corn and peas is that you just kind of squeeze them and then let the mushy stuff in the aquarium. The goldfish will eat it instantly. They kind of like beans as well. Pumpkin even, but careful with pumpkin, don't put too much in there. So I'm feeding some flake food. I want to switch for something more nutrition value really, but I also give some algae wafers. I give some bloodworms sometimes, not particularly for the goldfish, but for the other fish, especially the dinos. But yeah, goldfish will eat anything really. So, but yeah, veggies, you should put a lot of them. The goldfish will love it, and if you have real plants, putting veggies will help you, because the goldfish will tend to eat the veggies before destroying your plants. And if you have kind of problem with aggressivity or something, putting veggies, they will take a lot of time just picking at lettuce and other green food. So instead of trying to eat other small fish, they will spend a lot of energy into actual food that is easier for them to access. Remember, don't overfeed or underfeed. But yeah, if you do a lot of water change, if you have a good filtration, and if you do several really small meal rather than a big meal, you should be good. And yeah, so minimum tank size for goldfish. So I kind of lived with the kind of rule that for fancies you have to put the first one in a 20-gallon, and then if you want another one you add 10-gallon, or it's like 10-gallon for each fancy goldfish. But I don't believe that anymore. I think for those two, a minimum of 40-gallon for adult size would be good enough, and then you can add kind of other small fish in there, like dojo loach and everything like that. But yeah, don't underestimate the size of a goldfish. They are supposed to grow out to be like, well, kind of get this in your mind, alright? Goldfish, they are just colorful carp. So you cannot put a carp in a 10-gallon aquarium. That's just crazy, that's just stupid. Those fancies, they get to be at least 8-inch, something like that, even bigger in some case. Always expect them to grow up to be huge, massive fish, because they are, really. And yeah. Oh, for coloration, so I receive a lot of compliment of people talking about the good colors of my goldfish, and a lot of people ask me how I manage that, and it's just well, they kind of are born with good color, to begin with, but a lot of good food, a lot of water change, and a lot of love make them that brilliant. And also, yeah, if your goldfish is changing of color, don't worry, this is normal. My goldfish Ghost, you see how much white he have in the mouth? Well, believe me or not, when he was younger, all his body was completely white, except like from his back, but all of his head completely white. And pretty, come here, Ghost. But yeah, he only had like a slim orange line on his back. Same for her. She was like, she kind of kept more of her color than Ghost, but all of that was white. She had like a line of orange. You can kind of see it, and then kind of leak to be like more and more orange and less white, but both kept some white in their coloration, which is really great. But don't worry, usually when you get a goldfish, they are super young and they just didn't have their mature color yet, and it takes years for them to change their coloration. So yeah, never expect a goldfish to be the same color or have the same like dots and everything over the time, because they usually will change quite a lot of color. So for sexing your goldfish, I think both of mine are female. Even if Ghost, I kind of consider him to be the male and RP the female. That's just me, but usually male will get like breeding stars, which is kind of, it looked like ick, but it isn't. It's like white spot all over the gill and the face, and sometimes even often around the fins. And the female kind of get fatter than the male. So yeah, I have no idea if mine are actually male or female. They never lay eggs and everything. And I never had reproduction with my goldfish, so I cannot really help you for breeding goldfish. You can check the Solid Gold Aquatic for that. So if you don't know that channel, really try to do so. Check that out, because Jenny really give a lot of great advice about goldfish. I learned quite a lot for goldfish. Oh, and also, goldfish compared to other type of fish are really, they will interact quite a lot with you. Oh, RPs attacking the lettuce. Action time! Woo! They become like piranhas once they try to eat